MatchBingo introduces Live Football Bingo, where events in every English Premier League game can win you prizes for a £1 card. And the fastest full house of the season is worth £20,000. Head to matchbingo.co.uk for more information. Over 18s only. Be gamble aware. Get yourself over to matchbingo.co.uk for more information. Hello again, my friends, and you are my friends, and welcome to your Talking Town midweek. We're here for an ITFC natter, a number of things hitting the press in the last couple of days, and we just thought we'd chew the fat, see what we felt, see what we think. No, I can't see it being too long of a show, but please do hit the like button, subscribe if you're brand new here, and get active, such as many of you have already in the chat. Got Anthony Still, good evening, TT crew. Mr. Chandler, he's here. I hope he is anyway, because he's going to be appearing very shortly, so I'm glad he's posting in the chat. 80, the Stone Market legend, I hope you are well. Elliot said, with the way the Championship has been improving in recent years, you can argue the Scottish Premier League, obviously in relation to McKenna link, we'll mention that in just a second, is a step down with what? With European football as well, Elliot? I'm not quite sure about that one. Lots of chat about the McKenna links. We'll get into that. As always, please do get active in the live chat. And if you want to go one further, become a Talking Town 5th Standard today by going to Ko-Fi or hitting join button on YouTube. Information is available in the chat right now. Once you become a member, as somebody did just the other day, thank you very much for becoming a Talking Town VIP. You get access to the wonderful world that is Discord. There it is, beautiful as it is. It's a very busy hive of activity. Lots of Talking Town community members in there, all discussing Ipswich Town Football Club, along with wrestling, cricket, NFL, general life, anything and everything. Do head on over. Little Ben Moore is one of our moderators. We love you, Ben. We appreciate it. So join the Discord. Lots of great competition. But yeah, just by being a patron of the channel, and you become that by hitting the join button on YouTube or heading to Ko-Fi, and you can cancel at any point as well. Obviously, you do lose access to Discord, but you can cancel at any point should you need to. Andy says he won't leave you on an average Championship quality team in a non-league standard league. All right. Joining us this evening, as I mentioned, is the one, the only Mr. Richard Chandler. How you doing, Chandler?
I'm good, you?
I'm very well, thank you. Yeah, looking forward to chewing the ITFC fat. And obviously, you're someone who's very active on Discord. Love to see active users on Discord. It's been a fair
few.
You
are now as well, aren't you?
I know. Well, I thought as the admin, as the server host, I probably should police it a little bit more than I was. So yes. And it's amazing what happens when there's no football. Like, you've suddenly got a bit more time. How are you feeling that time?
Well, I've just got back from holiday, so I was feeling it.
Oh, yes. La-di-da. Yes. 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 One of those. 6 stars hotel.
Really there. A couple of weeks till the fixtures get announced. Then it's
not long. It's not long, which we're here to discuss. Obviously, it's a little bit towards the end of the show. You say you're on holiday. We have got a holiday channel in our Discord. We have been seeing some wonderful photos, including Richard Moss's ham, egg and chips and his Corona. No, I'll be fair. He didn't actually post. I should say the Corona there, but he didn't actually post the ham, egg and chips. He definitely posted the Corona. What was your beer of choice on your holidays there, Mr.
Well, I went to Turkey, so if I wasn't on the hotel complex, I was drinking FS because
that's a nice one. I like that one.
Turkish beer, and I quite like it. But it was either Tuborg or Carlsberg in the hotel, so it was Tuborg because I'm not drinking Carlsberg.
No. I'm with you there. And obviously on the Discord, we mentioned a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff gets posted, debated. Paul Smith says, I posted here a week or two ago about giving Super K a longer contract, hopefully to keep the vultures at bay. One of the busiest threads this week, obviously, has been the McKenna links, first with Leicester and then with Celtic. Both times he's accompanied by the Man City coach, whose name escapes me at this moment in time. But what are your thoughts on those links? Let's start with the Leicester link. Any concern with that one?
I'm not concerned with Leicester. Okay. I just don't see why that would be a move that he would do. He's obviously had quite a big job on his hands when he first took over at Ipswich for his first job. and he's proved successful at that so far.
Mhm.
And Leicester are a bit of a basket case of a club at the moment. Is he going to go in there and have to try and do what Paul Cook had to do when he came into us? And look what happened to Paul Cook. I think Celtic's a different kettle of fish. I have to say, that one does concern me.
Okay, yeah. Obviously, Stephen Perry here. Enzo, I could remember it, Steve. I struggled to pronounce Wes Burns and Paul Smith, so I was just sort of staying away from it. Now he's posted it. I'm going to have to tackle this. Enzo Maraca. Apologies, Enzo. I know I've probably got that completely wrong. I'm sorry. I was shocked with my own name. I didn't write it down several times. Rich, Celtic. This fella from Man City, Enzo, has been linked with Celtic. Sorry, he's been linked with Leicester. Is it a domino effect? Do you feel if Enzo goes to Celtic, Leicester might be available, but that's not concerning you? So where's your feeling on the Celtic link?
I think with Celtic, whatever we think about Scottish football, and I'm saying me really in that scenario, in that it's a 2-team league typically, that's still a big club. It's still a very big job.
Mm-hmm.
Proved by the fact that there has been managers that have got that job and done well at it that have then gone on to get bigger jobs in the Premier League, as has just happened with their manager going to Spurs, because that job at Spurs is a huge job. Whether they win anything or not, they're a big club.
Yeah.
And he's got the job on the back of doing a good job at Celtic. So from a progression of a manager point of view, I can see why that would interest McKenna.
European football, Champions League.
Yeah. And if you get out of the qualification stage and get into the groups proper, that's a success for a Scottish team.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, you're guaranteed to be, not guaranteed, but it's Scottish football, first or second, you're more or less guaranteed with if you're managing Celtic or Rangers. Let's be brutally fair. You're in the Champions League. You've got more eyeballs on you, because whether you accept the quality of the league or whether you don't, Celtic is a huge club known worldwide. Celtic is a huge club that people within the main media look at as I mean, there's still constant chatter about moving them to the English Premier League, not moving them to the Championship or League One. I mean, some fans would say that, but whenever the media seem to talk about it, Rich, it's always how would they fare in the Premier League, etc. So there is that gravitas to it, and it is a link that I'm not concerned, but out of the two, it is the heavier of the threat.
I just think if you're in a workplace environment of that scenario, and you've got a club like Leicester or a workplace like Leicester, and then you've got a workplace like Celtic, the Celtic one would be the one that would be the more attractive. I just whether they are genuinely looking at him after a year and a bit of management, who knows?
Exactly. Yeah. We'll wait till we see, won't it, really? I mean, but what do you say to fans sort of who take the tone? Great comment from Being Frank, said McKenna not going anywhere. There's an agreement between himself and Ashton, who he's here for the long term. Many other fans, such as Frank, along with Frank saying, he's bought into the vision, he's bought into the long term thinking, it's the project. What do you say to those fans? Because personally, long term projects are great in football, but how often do they pan out? How often do they work? And as a manager, you almost have to look after yourself a little bit, because when the chips, you mentioned Paul Cook. Where is Paul Cook right now? Given the rebuild task, had the bad start, and I'm not saying, of course, if we had a bad start in the Championship because on his ear, not what I'm saying. But when your stock's high, it's almost like shares. You kind of got to sell, keep or progress, right? You can't just say, "Well, I'm here for the long term," and not view moves like Celtic.
Yeah, I think that's got for a young manager, that's got to be a big thing in their mind, is that they've got a long-term plan, and their long-term plan might not be the club's long-term plan, but they've got to take advantage when it's a big thing. Nathan Jones is a I've just read Paul Benmore's comment. Paul Lambert played a lot of football in Europe, apparently.
He played for Celtic, didn't
he? I think I don't think that McKenna would go yet, but you look at Nathan Jones went from Luton to Southampton and then lost his job pretty quickly. Graham Potter went to Chelsea and then lost his job very quickly after doing a great job at Brighton. There's no such thing as a long-term plan for a manager, I don't think.
No. Do you think Potter's CV is bolstered by having Chelsea on it, even though it was a short reign, even though it was a reign that many with you wasn't successful?
I think so. Same with Steven Gerrard, because Steven Gerrard did a good job at Rangers and then a crap job at Villa.
Yeah.
And that was proved how bad a job it did at Villa, because then the new manager came in and got them to, 7th or something?
So having Celtic on the CV is certainly never going to help. Never going to hurt, sorry.
No, it's not. I think it's not necessarily the first job that you take as a manager. It's the second job you take as a manager that's the big thing. Because you look at Burley, I know he'd had a couple of jobs before the Cole U job, but the Cole U job was that was his first thing that people spotted. And then we poached him from Cole U and he did a great job with us. And then he had several other jobs after in a short period of time.
Yeah. And Paul Lambert, Colchester United manager, beats Norwich 7-1. Sort of a short while later, he's making the journey up the A12 and then the A140 to become Norwich's manager. And that's, absolutely. Okay, so we've put that one to the bed. We'll see what happens in the coming weeks and days. Obviously, get yourself on Discord. We'll have all the comings and goings as we get them on there. Also, keep your eyes on the social media. Pre-season construction's well underway. Going to begin at Felixstowe, Walton Rich. Then you've got, obviously, the Tour of Austria with one game against the side there. Cambridge and Stevenage on the same day. And the grounds are an hour apart. So let me know. I'm interested to know if any town fans are going to try and consider doing both. That's the pre-season sort of so far. The real crux of the matter. Is it strong enough? Rich, is it strong enough?
I think that won't be at all, because you look at how many behind closed doors friendlies they played against better sides last season in the build-up. So, the Stevenage game won't be our first 11. That will be a second string / under 23s team probably. And then we played, I want to say, Palace and Arsenal in the same day.
We did.
And did 2 first teams at different locations that day. And I think a couple of them even travelled across to be on the bench for the second game, didn't they? I don't really take much notice of pre-season friendlies, other than the fact I'm quite interested to go to Felixstowe, because it's going to Felixstowe on a sunny day.
I agree.
And I'm quite interested to do that, but I don't take much notice of them, because you're never going to see a true reflection, because if they don't go and absolutely muller Felixstowe or Malton, something's gone wrong. But equally, if they win 1 or 2-0, do they get loads of criticism for the fact that they've took it easy on a much lower level side?
Are you new school or old school with your pre-season mentality?
New school or old school? What do you mean?
Old school, where it's you don't play anybody in your same league, and you build yourself up. So you might start at Felixstowe, no disrespect, obviously at a certain level of football, and then each time you build it up. So for me, if I'm an old school mentality when it comes to pre-season, I would never play anybody in my own division. I don't believe in giving them first blood mentality wise. If they beat you, that psychological edge. Some would say that's nonsense. That's a new school. We don't worry about that. I'm old school in that I'm looking at this pre-season, and for me, it's not too tough at the moment, but my next 2 fixtures that I'm announcing are stepping up. So you're looking at now 2 Premier League sides to really then go and test the nucleus of your squad that you've built over the course of the summer, to fine-tune it, see what you really got, perhaps have a trial or 2 that you're not quite sure of. Let's see them in a bit of a tougher environment. That's the old school. The new school is very much, you can play anybody really. It doesn't matter at the same level or not, same league or not. It's about blood in minutes, about getting players on the grass, minutes in leagues. It's about just getting minutes. So come first day of the season, they're raring, fit and ready to go.
I think I'm probably old school because I don't think you should play people in your team, in your division. I don't see how that benefits anyone, because it might benefit you if you turn around and stuff them, but that's a risk.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you get beat, is it my old dad used to say it's psychological. You know, you go into the next game, they've beaten you already. They're almost a 1 goal up on you. Things like that. That's very old school mentality, of course. But yeah. I would never play in my same league. But I would be now looking at 2 Premier League sides, not another League One side or even a foreign friendly. But
I think that's what he'll be doing.
Yeah.
I think he'll be looking at a couple of Premier League sides. Even the same day, potentially, whatever. I think that's what will happen.
Okay. A couple of players got married this week. Dominic Ball and Lee Evans. Congratulations from everybody here at Talking Town to both the new Mr. and Mrs. Evans and the new Mr. and Mrs. Ball. I want wedding advice, Rich. I'll offer some as well, but I want wedding advice from you. I want wedding advice from the chat. Best piece of wedding advice you would give the newlyweds if you could talk to them right this minute, Richard.
As someone who's divorced, wedding advice from me is probably not the best. Except for that Lee Evans bizarrely shares my first wedding anniversary. Because he got married.
Well, hopefully he has more success, Richard Chandler, than you did.
Yeah. But I think enjoy the wedding day as much as you can for a start.
Yeah.
Because it's mine. I don't know what you remember of yours, but mine I can remember being 1 second getting ready to go to the church to the next minute it being like 12:30 at night and being almost the end of the day. It felt like it flew by.
I got a little bit drunk in the evening. The evening certainly went a lot quicker than the day, but it did fly by. You were it went from being married to in the car to stealing a moment to suddenly we're doing New York, and that was it. And,
I think it flew by. It's 20 odd years ago now, so I'm showing my age, unfortunately. But I think Colin Plum's obviously been there a lot longer than me. Give and take is definitely the case. I think maybe that's possibly where mine might not have done. And my current partner, Caroline, we're not getting married anytime soon. It's not going to happen, but we're more than happy with each other. So.
Well, that's the most important thing, as long as you're happy. And I can only speak as a find. And here's my advice to the newlyweds. There's going to be times when you're told they told you something and you aren't going to have the foggiest idea what they said. And when they said it, or even if they said it. Now, I've got a little bit of a news flash for you all. Sometimes they haven't even said it themselves. They just tell you, I told you, you know that. I said this. But I'm on to them. They never said that. I don't remember them saying it. And my wife has since confirmed she sometimes does have that. Okay, yeah, I never actually said that. I meant to. I forgot. But I was hoping you wouldn't remember that I hadn't remembered. So don't always fall for it.
I think you're right. I think they know they don't say it, definitely.
Yeah, so don't always fall for it. Don't always fall for it. They're not always telling you when they should be telling you. But there we go. That's my advice. That, and if you're getting married, don't worry about the speeches. Nobody really cares. Everyone loves you. We're all there to see you succeed. So don't sit through your dinner shaking like a dog shitting peach seeds. Just stand up, say what you got to say, smash it out of the park. Job done.
That's good advice. I like that.
Mate, I literally was shaking under the table through my whole dinner. I couldn't eat it. My best men couldn't eat their dinner. We were shaking under the table. It was not good. And I got up 5 seconds later. It was done. And it's like, is that it? That was it. And that was it. But yeah, so congratulations to the newlyweds. And hopefully they have more luck than you did, Richard, on the first one. Not that Lee Evans should have avoided that date because of that,
No,
that's fine.
Definitely not.
And the pictures look lovely. Right, back to the football. Fixture list coming out soon. All right, we haven't really got a fixtures show. I'll rephrase that. We've got a fixtures show live on the day the fixtures are released. I'm on holiday, but I'm still producing it, so that's commitment to the cause. But we haven't really got a show leading up to it like we normally do. We're discussing them, so I thought we'd use this opportunity to discuss what we would like fixture-wise. Opening day. What's your ideal hand-selected opening day fixture?
I'd have liked a home game, and we know that's not going to happen.
Nope.
I'd personally, I've seen loads of people put the big boys away at whatever, Leicester or whatever. And much as I think something like that's probably what we'll end up with, and we'll be on Sky on the Friday night instead of on the Saturday at 3, I'd like Stoke or Preston or Swansea, someone who's beatable and that you can get off to a good start.
Okay, yeah. So you'd like a Stoke,
I think
or
then you go into your first home game with everyone on even more of a high that we're in the Championship and we're on 3 points already, kind of thing.
Yeah, love that thinking. Very sound thinking. I've gone for a very similar one. I've gone for the away fixture because we know it's going to be away the first week of the season. I've gone Leicester away for the very reason I think they're going to be a team in a little bit of flux, a new manager, whoever that may be. Even if it's Dean Smith, which I don't think it will be. Even if it is, there will be a little bit of turnover, change, philosophy tweaks in their style, and it almost seems like the ideal time to play them. Fairly local away day, so you can get yourself down there as well if you're able to. Right time, right team, 3 points off a team like that, and I'm with you in that with what you were saying about going into the high, going into the first home game with that euphoric, particularly if you're beating a team like Leicester, who many will say in their predictions come July is a top 6 side. So I've gone for Leicester away. Lewis wants Norwich away. David wants Cardiff away. And Colin wants Leicester City away. I will circle back to the first home game. I'll do that last, just to give you a chance. Because I'm not sure I mentioned that in the message too. But first home game, just because we know the first actual game is going to be away. So who would your first home game be? I'll come back to that in a second. Boxing Day, traditional Boxing Day. Who do you fancy on Boxing Day?
I want to go old school. I want Norwich.
Norwich, home or away?
Norwich at home on Boxing Day.
Okay.
We always used to have them on Boxing Day and Easter.
Mm-hmm.
Because they could get away with a lunchtime kickoff without everyone kicking off about the fact that it was a lunchtime kickoff. It would always be on Sky. Much as, if you believe a lot of the Championship Facebook groups, people think that our derby doesn't mean anything and isn't a big game at all. But that's because most of them talk complete bollocks.
Say as you feel, mate. Say as you feel. I want to talk in town. I like that. All right. I've not gone for that. I just don't see them putting that type of fixture on a bank holiday around Christmas. I'd be up for it. I'd be up for a Norwich home or away. But I've gone for a Watford at home. Top 6. You would have thought a top 6 or maybe a top 10 side. It's not too far to travel. For the Watford fans, you get a decent number of Watford fans potentially, make a really good atmosphere. I've gone for Watford at home. That's my Boxing Day choice.
That's a similar kind of one to what we had this year, then, because we had Oxford this year, didn't we? Very similar.
Yeah, I just think the fixtures, the selectors like to sort of put local teams on those sort of dates together. If that makes sense, as close as you can get it being Ipswich and the back and beyond. And I was looking at London, and I was thinking, obviously, we've lost Luton. Got Watford, which is why also I've gone for New Year's Day, another home tie. So a home Boxing Day and New Year's Day. I'm being greedy. I'm the fixture selector. It won't happen, I would have thought. But I've gone for Millwall at home. Again, a London-based side. They can bring a decent number of fans down. And I've gone for my fixture 2 would be Watford and Millwall both at home. Or one of them away, but that's the 2 I would choose. Who's your New Year's Day?
I like the sound of Millwall New Year's Day, I have to say. I'd rather it was at our place if we were playing on New Year's Day, I think.
Me too. Yeah, me too.
I rate Rowett as a manager. I think they'll be up there again this season.
Mm-hmm.
Little fun fact for you. He was my coach on my coach's badges. He wasn't. He was. He used to do coaching for the Leicestershire FA, so I was up in Leicestershire at the time, and he was my FA coaching badge tutor.
Nice, like that. Cool. So you're a big fan of Rowett, and you'd like Millwall. Is Millwall away your choice for New Year's, or have you got a set of different?
I'd rather them at home than away.
Okay.
I think that ground's an intimidating ground to go to, and I think on a New Year's Day it would probably be a bit more so as well.
Okay. All right. So what is your New Year's Day select? Is it Millwall?
I don't know, because you didn't really put that in the thing, so you kind of caught me on the hop.
You can go Millwall, you can go same as me if you like.
I'd actually quite like Leicester on New Year's Day.
All right, yeah.
Because like you said, if you went away, it's 2.5 hours. I do that trip all the time nowadays because of my older kids living up there. It's an easy ground to get to. It's quite a nice ground. I think they're going to have a tougher season than people are giving them credit for in the predictions. I think they could struggle to make the playoffs. So I think they could be a beatable team as well.
Okay. All right. So I like that. Yeah. I don't think I'll have them miss it. I don't know. It's a big summer coming up, and it's a hard division this year, and a lot of big hitters. Okay, like that. Leicester as your New Year's Day. Your last 3 fixtures of the campaign. Before I come to that, I'll get a few comments. Got Davis' Blackburn away New Year's Day. Lewis wants Leeds at home. Atmosphere from the Leeds fans always the best when they come down. Good evening, Nat, one of our Wednesday fans who watches this. Welcome in, buddy. Hope you're well. Philip, last time I was at the New Den, we won 3-1 to go to the championship. New Year's Day 2014. Great. Ant still says, please won't agree in Norwich on Boxing Day. Rob Holmes says Millwall Boxing Day. Boxing Day and Easter Monday is brilliant, as long as both are at home. But as Stephen Parry says here, the fixture list will be the computer will spit out some fixtures and Sky will mess them up. So yeah, fair enough. Right, last 3 then. Ideally, who would be your last 3, and what order, home and away, would you have it?
I'd want home on the last day.
Yeah, same.
For definite. I'd quite like Southampton at home on the last day.
Oh, okay.
Because I think they will probably be the strongest of the 3 relegated sides, personally. And I think they could well be promoted by then. And we could be
joining them.
Playoffs, joining them, whatever it is. But it could be quite a good game for us. I don't know what Rotherham are going to be like now. I can't even remember the name of their manager now. It's not Paul Warne, is it? It's Matt.
It's not been Paul Warne for a while. Like yeah, I'm not sure. I'll look it up while you talk.
I genuinely don't know who it's too early for me to say, but equally, I think the way the fixtures were this season was quite good because we had teams that weren't playing for anything in our last 2-3 games, apart from the Barnsley game. And by the time we then got to Exeter and Fleetwood, they were nothing games because we only needed 2 points from 2 games at that stage. And it made the job of Exeter a lot easier.
Very true.
For us to then not really care about what happened at Fleetwood.
Yeah, and we were still in our beach hats as the man behind you. We were still absolutely loving life. I'm sure. They were all flip flops, beach hats, loving life, weren't they?
I think that Harry Clark had partied until about 20 minutes from the end of the Fleetwood game when he came off the bench to then get sent off. So, and
I can't blame him one bit. Why not? Promotion only comes around once every year until next year. All right, my 3: home, away, home. All right, so we end in last day of the year, last day of the season at home, and I've got Stoke
Rotherham,
at home.
Rotherham,
yep,
on the 3rd from last.
Yeah.
Swansea away. I'd quite like to go to Swansea. Never been to Swansea.
Nice.
For the 2nd to last.
And
then finish it off with Southampton at home.
All right. Mine would be Stoke at home, as in the 3rd from last. Preston away. 2. I put both of those where they're both winnable fixtures. And whatever you're facing, whether it's a late playoff surge, a playoff consolidation or a top 2 charge, dare we dream, Stoke and Preston, I would feel we should always be, and getting some decent points return over the course of the season from Stoke at home in what would be May. I'd much prefer, or even Stoke away in May, as I would in late October, early November on a Tuesday night when the wind is swirling and the rain is flowing and Rory Delap's lining up his long throw. So I'm sure he still plays for him right with the long throw. Preston away or home, whichever way you want to sort of get those two. And then last but not least, our last day of the season at home, Leeds. Big club, big atmosphere. And we always seem to do really well against Leeds, regardless of what year we've had against Leeds on the last home game of the year.
Yeah, I can remember going to Leeds away when we relegated them to League One, and that was an eventful day, I have to say.
The year we got relegated, we still somehow managed to pull out of, a 4-2 win against the side that was going into the playoffs?
Yeah.
Like, doesn't matter what they're doing, what we're doing. Last day of the year, or last home game against Leeds, always seem to throw up a really decent, normally a town win fixture. So I've gone for that.
I'd want them at home. If that was last day, I'd want them at home for definite.
Yeah. Okay. Your first home game.
What game I want first home?
Mm-hmm.
Cardiff at home.
Why Cardiff?
I think it's a winnable game. I think it goes along with the whole theory around my first away game. I think early doors, if we can have some points on the board early doors, we get some momentum. And if anything, we've seen what this team and squad and management do with momentum at the back end of the season. And there's no reason why we can't go into it with that kind of momentum either.
All right. I've gone for Norwich. Norwich at home. So you've got Leicester away, Norwich at home, which I think people would look at upon the 22nd of June and go, oh my God, what a big start that is. Two sides, you expect to be top 10. How many points? Some would say 4. The very optimistic would say 6. Some would say I'll take 3, just beating Norwich. I'd take Norwich opening day. Again, like Leicester, another side that I would expect to be in a state of change. They've got a lot seemingly going on down the A140 in terms of, is it Stuart Webber? He seems to be out every other week having another press conference. You've got new ownership or new money. Is that coming in? Is it not coming in? You've got, are we signing the next 34-year-old or not? Lots going on down the A140. And I just fancy him early doors to be a little bit unsettled and a big old Suffolk punch to come along and knock a king.
Yeah, and then in the Championship Facebook groups that I'm in, there's a lot of Norwich fans that are giving a lot of trying to give a lot of pelters to Ipswich fans, but that's all it's doing is showing that they're worried.
Oh, they're petrified.
Because all they keep doing is going on about how we haven't beaten them in 15 years or whatever it is, but ignoring the fact that every other stat and metric we're ahead of them still.
Yeah. And of course, you get your early Sky contender.
Club, so.
And we are. Oh, absolutely. I mean, they're checking under their beds for Kieran McKenna every night, but it would also be on Sky, obviously. So it's an early Sky contender for selection, which I think it would be. And just a vibe, town back in the Championship, new pitch, revamped stadium with the changes, a good summer, not beating Norwich in, we won't say how long. Just seems like an ideal time for the opening home game of the year to be Norwich at home, live in front of Sky, and for the new town to show itself instead of being the old town that lays.
I do. That would be good, and I am already looking forward to the first time I get a train to an Ipswich game, because walking down and not having the Staples building blocking the stand is going to be quite a different view coming down to the stadium now. Yeah,
it really is. You're right. It's going to be good. It's going to be beautiful. From the pictures alone, Richard, it looks really beautiful.
Yeah, really does.
Well, there we go. Let us know yours in the comments. Another reason why I wanted to do a show tonight was because I wanted to touch upon and discuss an event Oh, we've got €5 from David. Appreciate it, David. Thanks ever so much. An event that you've got going on. All right. Now, some people will be all over it. Some people watching it live or on catch up won't be all over it and be the first time they're hearing about it. So, what's going on, Rich?
So on Friday, the 9th of June at 7 o'clock, there's an event going on at Portman Road in the Sir Bobby Robson Suite. And it's to raise funds for a bucket list for my sister, who's currently she has got terminal cancer. So she's in a hospice in Colchester at the moment. And it's to raise money for that bucket list, but also for the Ipswich Town Football Club Foundation and also for the Collingwood Centre, which is the cancer centre in Colchester Hospital, because they've done a lot of treatment with her over the last 2 years and they don't really get as much funding as they could do with. So it's going on then. There's an online auction. There's loads of items being donated from various things. There's loads of items of signed memorabilia that my sister's collected over the years that she's selling of her own stuff, just to try and raise quite a lot of money for the charity. The GoFundMe page, which is, if anyone knows me on Facebook or Twitter, they will see it because I'm sharing it left, right and centre. The GoFundMe page has already raised £1,500, £500 of which was donated by Brett Johnson. And
well done.
He's also donated an item for the bucket list, and he's also donated an item for the auction, which I'll come on to in a second because it's a big item. But there's also the event itself, but also an online auction. So you can just go onto the Facebook page and bid, and anyone that's anyone that has made a bid on the night will be contacted by myself or a couple of other people to find out if they want to increase their bid, depending on what happens with the auction on the night, as to whether they want the item or not. It's just a really good way of raising quite a lot of money for some very significant charities.
Absolutely.
As well as obviously my sister's bucket list. So it's the event for people that want to go to is going to have some very basic food going on, some sandwiches, etc. And it's only £5 donation to the bucket list to go ahead, and that's purely because obviously things like food cost money. There's quite a lot of F1 stuff on there. There's a Brentford signed shirt. There's some Ipswich signed stuff. There's a couple of 2012 Olympics, like 1 in 500 items that have been done that she's had for a long time. Chris Hoy and Jessa Ennis ones. And there's other bits and pieces that will be on there. Some Essex Cricket Club stuff that's on there as well. But the biggest bit of news really is only really happened in the last day or two. So I'm really keen to get the news out there on this because I think a lot of people will be interested, is that Brett Johnson has donated what is going to be 2 return tickets to Rhode Island for when Rhode Island FC Stadium opens, which is likely to be the back end of next season, I think, maybe early the season after, for us, and VIP tickets to the stadium for the first game or a game when they can make it, and accommodation, and that's all expenses paid by him.
Wow, that's some prize.
That is a big prize.
It's some prize. Wow.
He has been amazing. Throughout, he's been supporting. Anyone that was in the fan zone on the Exeter game will know that he came to speak to my sister, meet my sister, having spoken to her a lot and met her a couple of times before. But he obviously knew that she's got significantly worse in the last 6 months. So he made the effort to come in there, and then obviously spent a long time in there getting photos with pretty much every fan that wanted photos until he got told by a club official he needed to actually go and eat his lunch. It was somewhere upstairs because he brought Burkay and Mark Detmer and stuff into the fan zone.
Wow, what a prize. So just recap that. So Brett Johnson has donated
2 return flight tickets to Rhode Island, and accommodation and VIP tickets to a game at Rhode Island to be his guests.
Wow, such generosity. And it's this Friday,
Yeah.
the 9th of June,
Yeah.
7 p.m. It's a £5 donation. Can
Yeah.
they get tickets before they go? Is it can they
They can either donate on
tickets,
they can donate on the GoFundMe page, the
Mhm.
Fiverr, or whatever they want to donate. They can message me, say they're donating it, but they want however many tickets, or they can just turn up on the day and donate whatever they want to donate on the day. But it's just essentially to make sure that we've got money coming in for everyone that turns up.
And if you can't make it for whatever reason, as I've seen Colin in the chat there say, I can't make Friday, so sorry, we'll donate some money to your first day of the new campaign. If you can't make it, there's an online auction. So how do they? I'll put the GoFundMe. Is it GoFundMe? Is that the one? I'll put that link in the description.
There's a GoFundMe, and there's also on my Facebook, and so there's a link in there for Artsy Images, who are the people that are doing have done all the framing of the items and are setting the event up. They've put on their Facebook page all of the items. Well, they've put all the items that were available at that time, but there's now been added some more stuff added, and they will all be on show at the event as well. So people can either bid online, they can message me with a bid, or they can message Artsy Images with a bid, and then we will make sure that they get updated during the evening to find out if they want to increase or not, depending what's happening with the bidding in the room.
Okay, so I'll post those links in the description. Whether you're watching live on catch up, watching live, obviously check back after the show to see them. If you're on Discord, I'll get them posted on Discord for you. And there's an online auction. So how do people find the online auction if they sadly can't make this Friday?
It's in that Artsy Images Facebook page. It's got basically people can comment on the item and say how much their bid is. Okay. And you'll see if you go onto it, there's a couple of the F1 items that have got a couple of people competing for them at the moment. Okay. But each person can do that, or they can message any of us to do that. But the online auction will finish at the end of the actual auction live. So that's going to finish about 9 o'clock on Friday night is the aim. Whether it runs to that time or whether it goes slightly over, who knows? Because obviously it depends on how long these things take, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And the link for that I'll also post on Discord and in the description of this show. And as Ben more so accurately and so elegantly well puts it, go and donate people, and let's give back to 2 amazing charities that do a lot of work for everyone. Cancer is shit. Sadly, Ben does know firsthand, and let's give your sister something that she truly deserves. Is there anything else you want to mention about this Friday, 9th of June, 7 p.m, £5 donation? Get yourself there. You can pay on the night. You can pay in advance. Message Richard Chandler. Find somebody from Talking Town. If you can't find Rich on social media, find someone that you know from Talking Town. We'll get you in contact with him, or we'll help you out. Is there anything else, Rich, you want the people at home to know about this event?
No, I just wanted to say thanks to everyone for all their support.
We're with you, Rich, every step of the way.
Getting emotional.
We'll be with you on Friday.
All the support throughout.
You're a good man, Rich, and we'll do everything we can. So get donating. If you can't make it, online auction, but if you can make it, get yourselves down there. Be a great night, making lots of money for several wonderful charities, and obviously the bucket list as well. Get yourself down there. Let's smash it out of the park, as only we do on Talking Town. But it's been a great night. This is the man, Richard Chandler. Hats off for the bucket list. I'm the Gov. You're a wonderful TT community. We've already had €20 from David donated to you. I'll make sure that gets to you. No one else put any super chats in regards to the charity through, because YouTube takes forever to actually pay it out. But David, €20. I'll put the link. Go there, drop some money. Let's absolutely raise an absolute ton. But cheers, David. €20 coming your way already, Mr.
Thanks,
Chandler. But yeah, we're done. We're dusted. And we'll catch you on Sunday. All the best.